for this Friday night, and the top story is about freak waves in the Mediterranean Sea have crashed into a cruise ship, terrifying people and killing two. Um, this says that 14 people were a bit hurt, and that the these these window frames were ripped out of the ship. The waves were very big, and they exceeded 10 meters in height. And that is the first story. And on to the second story. Now, if you like classic television, you might be familiar with NBC's big hit of the 1970s, The Rockford Files. Well, it looks like they're doing a new Rockford Files series, and they found the new star playing Jim Rockford will be Dermot Mulrooney. Dermot Mulrooney will play Jim Rockford on NBC's update of the Rockford Files. Similar news to that I had a few weeks ago about Hawaii Five-O. So that's two shows now that are being remade, Hawaii Five-O and the Rockford Files. And the next story, at the University of Illinois in Urbana, where I am now, well, I'm not in the university, but I'm in Urbana, the tuition price could be spiked up to by 20%. They're saying that the state has $500 million in aid payments behind to the university. The increase will probably be in the mid-teens, but it could be up to 20% higher than it is now, tuition at the U of I. So that's that story. And if you have any knowledge of any breaking news and you're a witness to it, or you know of someone I could interview or are somebody, you can email it to me, Michael Badger, by sending it to the email address, which is newsview@email.com. And the weather for Friday night, in Urbana-Champaign, the Urbana-Champaign area of Illinois, will be Friday night. It should get down to around 25 degrees Fahrenheit. And Saturday, for the high temperature, it should be around 50 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll see. That's your weather from Newsview for Friday night and Saturday in Urbana-Champaign. And I think we'll go to break number 1. Welcome back to NewsView. And the next story is the University of Illinois is the topic once again here. And it looks like they will have $22.5 million of Recovery Act funding for their broadband internet access at the U of I. It says here that Dick Durbin, the senator from Illinois, announced that the Department of Commerce is giving the U of I 22,534,776 from the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, and it looks like they'll be getting broadband internet access from that money at the U of I. And once again, I'll just remind you that when you're driving, especially at night, be careful. Champaign-Urbana can be a little harder to drive in at night, just as anywhere else is. We have lots of new lights. We have lighted street signs. We have crosswalk signals. We have fire department signals for an emergency when the fire engines and trucks are leaving. You have to stop, at least in Champaign now. That's the way it is. And Urbana, a little different. There's some crosswalks at the U of I that are important to keep an eye out for and stop at the proper times. And if you see any news happening, you can send any news tips to me at newsview@email.com. And the second story for this side of the first break is about a Frasca flight simulator is going to be, I guess, shipped to Scotland, to Aberdeen, Scotland, at the Bristow Academy. This flight simulator is made by Frasca International of Urbana, Illinois. They make flight simulators. They're supposed to be, I think, the best makers of flight simulators right now. And this is from aeronews.net, the Aero News Network, news about everything airplane. And speaking of airplane news, you probably heard about the boy who was calling over the radios, giving announcements to the planes at John F. Kennedy Airport, the biggest airport, or one of the biggest airports in the country, busiest anyway, I think. And I guess it was Take Your Kid to Work Day or something, maybe, and he let his kid talk to the pilots over the radio and give them their commands. The FAA is not happy about this at all, and it it doesn't look good. The kid was pretty good. Um, and if you live around here, you might have already heard my comments. My opinion here, my opinion is maybe they should fire the dad and hire the kid and train him to do it. But maybe not. Uh, we'll see what happens with that. Maybe. Maybe not much. They'll probably punish the man who let his kid do that. The pilots didn't seem to mind, though. That's the interesting part. And I think we'll go to break number 2 now, and right after I give you the email address again. It's newsview@email.com. Any questions, comments, or news, and that's the place to send them. See you the other side of this break. Okay, welcome back to tonight's edition of Newsview. And our next story is another U of I story. I think this is the third one tonight, folks. This one comes from the Associated Press and WAND TV, or Storm Center 17, as they want to be called for some reason. Says here, faculty at the U of I marched, I guess today, to protest the dwindling of funds at the U of I. They say here around 200 people participated in this march through the U of I campus to protest state payment holdups to the school. Says they had signs, chanted slogans, and this isn't the only place this is happening in the country. Says here this is happening across the country. They're protesting dwindling government support for higher education. This this could be something big. I don't know. They had 200 people. That's a pretty big number. It's not the biggest number they could have had, but they're faculty, so that's pretty big. And the next story comes from Breitbart.com, and it says here, in the Baltic Sea, over 50 ships got stuck in, I guess, ice. Yeah, in ice in the Baltic Sea Thursday evening. And this happened, I guess, near Sweden. So lots of ships stuck in the ice in the sea. Many people will take hours to free, probably. And the next story is an Illinois story. And this Illinois story is about people's opinions for the budget for Governor Pat Quinn, governor of Illinois. Um, and this comes from NBC Chicago's website. And um, there are quotes here, people saying things about don't tax tanning beds is a budget idea for the governor. This person says that you can get those kind of results about the football coach at the U of I getting $1.5 million a year, and he had one winning season 5 years. If you look in the Champagne phone book, they'll work for a lot less than $1.5 million. Dale of Champagne wrote in to there, and that was probably to the Peoria Journal-Star or the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. And if you have any news at all that's real news, newsworthy, you saw something, you saw this show and you have a question about this show or a comment, pass that along to us at newsview@email.com. I think that's about it for tonight. I'll just recap the weather here. Weather should be Friday night in the mid-20s range Fahrenheit, and Saturday we might get up to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Saturday morning or afternoon, or probably afternoon. And that's your weather from NewsView for Friday night and Saturday. Keep watching and looking for news, and join me again next week here at NewsView on UPTV. Thank you for watching. Good night.